Hello everybody, welcome to Sin City Living. My name is Jason. I'll be bringing you today's episode. As always, please hit the like and subscribe buttons, and we would like to give our usual shout out to all of our patrons. We really appreciate the tips and support. It's only going to go towards making the channel better, adding more games. We hope to add roulette as soon as we are able to. If you're curious about it, please check out the description of the video. So for today's video, we are going to go over something that was asked in the comments of some of our other videos, and that would be order of operations. Order of operations on a roll. What happens, when does it happen, and when should you start communicating with the dealer, I suppose would be the best way to put it. So I'm going to start this with a non-winner. So we're going to assume there's already a point. Okay, point is 8. And I didn't want to set up a whole bunch of things, so clearly we're going to do the 10. Okay, so let's say a 55 rolls, a hard 10, a 5-5, the hard way. All right, so this rolls, a 55 rolls. One of the most frustrating things that happens is we have a player that starts pointing at the hard way going, I have a hard way, I have a hard way, pay my hard way, where's my money, pay me, I want my money, I hit the hard way, I want my money. And the dealer is trying to talk to the other players to find out what they want through their other bets. Want to know if they want to press or if they need odds for something. There's a lot of things to communicate about with the players. And meanwhile, we've got this knucklehead shouting over everybody. Where's my money? Where's my money? You need to pay me my money. I had that bet. And eventually, either the box or the dealer is going to, in very polite terms, tell the player to shut up. The box is most likely going to say, sir, we know you have the hard way. The dealers will get to it in the proper order. You need to relax. Whereas the dealer, if they're trying to communicate with another player and this person just keeps shouting over the player whose turn it is, and the dealers like to say, we got it, sir, we'll pay you in a minute, relax, and keep going. Now, if you're not sure, the best players, and this also happens, is the hard 10 rolls, they go, hey, I had the hard 10, right? Absolutely, sir, we're going to pay you in just a second. Okay, great, thanks. And we move on. That is awesome. That is wonderful. Those are great players. You know, hey, did I have that? Yep, you absolutely did. I'm going to pay you in just a second, sir. Cool, great. You know, they asked because they weren't sure. We let them know. They're not sitting there screaming, yelling, pointing. There's some players that act like they're the only player on the table. We'll have a player that sits there and starts pointing at their bet, like, pay me. They're either pointing at their bet like this constantly with their hand in the way while we're trying to do our jobs, or they're pointing and they're yelling at the dealer, pay me. Where's my money? Where's my money? I wish I could say I was kidding about this, but it actually happens a lot. And the dealer, again, is trying to do their job. So we had some people ask about order of operations. So how would this go if a hard 10 rolls with this particular setup? Okay, well, the first thing that we're going to do is we deal with losing bets, right? So down behind, because this bet back here was betting against the 10. So 10 rolls, so down behind, this comes down. Were this a non-field number, say a 5, the next thing we would do is take the field. Since it's a winning bet, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to pay the field. We still haven't even dealt with these yet. Meanwhile, we might have someone pointing or shouting about their bets. We're not there yet. Calm down. Next, we deal with the don't come bets and the come bets. That is the proper order. Some dealers, especially if they're not really paying attention or they're just lazy, will take the come bets in first. In reality, we actually travel the don't come first. So first would be the don't come. Then we would deal with the come bets. Now at this point, if there are come bets, the players with the place bets, you know, we've got players that are sitting there yelling, you know, I want to press my 4 and 10, you know, cross press me up to a quarter, whatever it may be, and we're not even close. Most of the time, the dealers have their ears shut off at this point. A good dealer is actually hearing it and remembering it. I can generally, if 2 people here tell me they want to press, I will generally hear them and remember so that when I get to them, and I'll usually say something like, I got you, sir, and then move on. But some dealers are not able to multitask like that, and they're just going to shut their ears down. They're not listening to a single thing anybody is saying that is not the player they have to deal with. So after the don't comes, travel. Next, we're going to deal with the come bets, and we go in order from where the stick person is to the dealer. So on this side of the table, that player would be first, and then coming all the way around. On the other side of the table, it will go in the other direction, but But the best way to think about it is the further away, the closer you are to the dealer, the further in line you are. If you are the closest one to the dealer, you are going to be last. If you are directly next to the dealer, on the other side of the table, you'd be on the right. If you're directly next to the dealer, you are going to be last. If you are furthest away from the dealer or closest to the stick person, you are going to be first. That's a quick and easy way to remember it. Okay, so we would go next to the come bets. Okay, so this first come bet is going to win $30. Now, since they already have a come bet, we would just heel it off, and they are off and on. Okay, so then I'm going to go to the rest of the come bets. I skipped these bets, so these players, they might start yelling this, but it's not their turn yet. Come bets are first. So I'm going to go here. So the next come bet is going to be right here. Okay, so this player is going to win $45, and they are actually off for 45, and they are on for 10. Now, if this player instantly says, I want X amount of odds, like I want 15 odds or something like that, we're going to take care of it right away if they say it while we are doing this. If they don't say anything, we're going to move on to our next step. And that's a lot of times what will happen is a player will say, after we've started to move on, the player will say, oh, I want 10 odds. Okay, so we'll come back to you. Because once we step into the next step of the order of operations, we don't want to stop, because if we stop, that's how things get messed up. That's how a player's bet gets forgotten to be paid or something along those lines, because we broke the procedure to go to a different spot, and now we have to come right back. We have to interject ourselves right back into where the procedure was, and that's where things get slipped, that get lost, get forgotten with all these people yelling. I see dealers all the time. They break procedure, and then when they go back into the wrong spot. So we're going to try and stay within the procedure. So now that I've dealt with this come bet, and let's say the player does say, hey, I want to get 15 odds again. Okay, cool, here you go. Now I move on to the place bets. So now if people want to press, now's the time to tell us. If you want to press your bet, tell us before we pay you. Now I'm going to show you why in just a second. Okay, because I'm going to use a different number for that. So next we would go to the place bets. And again, whoever's closest to the stick is going to be first. Whoever's closest to me as the dealer is going to be last. So I'm not starting here, I'm starting over here, because on this side of the table, it travels this way, because my players travel this way. So I'm going to go to this place bet. And this place bet on a lot of games, most games, is going to pay $18. I'm going to pay it off. And then this one is going to pay $27. I'm going to pay it off. And then this one is going to pay $98, because this one would be a buy. So I will pay it. And there we go. So what's next? Now any center action. If anybody hopped the 10s, now they'd get paid. If anybody had the hard ways, now they would get paid. Now this time around, it's going to go in the opposite direction. But you could kind of look at it the same way. As the dealer here, when I'm dealing with these, I'm the one paying. I'm the one that's in charge of these bets. So if you're closest to me, you're going to go last. If you're furthest from me, you're going to go first, right? Well, now any bets over here, the stick man is in charge. So things actually go backwards. If you're closest to the stick man, you're going to go last. So now we pay people closest to me first, and we go around this way. We don't pay a specific bet first. We don't pay all the hard 10s first and then go to the hoppers. We pay in order. This player closest to me will get paid first, regardless of what their bets are. If they have any bets that are getting paid up there, anything whatsoever, we're going to pay it, and then we're going to move our way around. Okay? Center action is always the last thing to be paid after this, which is also why, while we're paying these, if a hard 10 just rolled and we're still paying this stuff, the dealer absolutely hates it when all of a sudden the people that are not on the hard way suddenly start throwing money. Let me get a hard 10, let me get a hard 10, let me get a hard 10. I want a hard 10, I want a hard 10, I want a hard 10. Meanwhile, we have to make sure that everything stays separated so that the people who actually bet the hard 10 and are getting paid for the hard 10, their bets are still set up to the cameras up above to show that those bets are there and getting paid, which is why we will not set up any other bets before we've even paid these. We can't have bets in here while we're still paying these bets, because that just looks funny on the cameras. So we got to pay them all, then we have to go back through and set everything up that everybody just threw at us. So if you got any bets in there, just wait until after we've paid everybody there, then start making your bets. Now, real fast before I end this video, as that is the order of operations, I want to show you why it is extremely helpful for the flow of the game and the speed of the game to tell us any presses that you wish to make before we pay you. Lowest level I can, even though it's almost impossible to find a $5 table anymore. I'm going to break this down to the absolute bare minimum level just to show you guys. Okay. So let's say in 8 rolls. Okay. So in 8 rolls, I go to pay the first person. I pay them. I hand it off. I stand up, and the player goes, oh, let me press my 6 and 8. Okay, cool. So now we're going to take the money, press their 6 and 8. Versus a player, the other players, I'm getting ready to pay them. They throw $5 and say, I want to press my 6 and 8. You got it, pressing your 6 and 8. Boom, I'm done. I didn't have to pay it, hand it off, then wait for them to then stand up, get ready to go to the next bet, and they throw their money in, and I have to go back and touch it. Now, for that particular press, it's relatively easy to deal with after the fact, but let me show you the difference in speed and efficiency and smoothness and being able to move on through the game. Because remember, if you slow the dealer down, you're not just slowing the dealer down, you're slowing everybody else down. So let me show you a difference in speed and smoothness. Okay, both of these players are going to press the 6 and 8. Okay. This player is going to inform the dealer as they are cutting out the bet before they have paid it. This player is going to inform the dealer after. Okay. This is the difference in speed. So 12 pays 14. I pay it off. Now they say, oh no, press the 6 and 8. Okay, you got it. This player says, press my 6 and 8 as I'm paying it. You got it. Same result, different speed. Different speed, different smoothness, but mostly different speed. Much easier. There are a lot of moves, a lot of these presses that are so common and so standard. There are actually various, there's not just one way of doing things. There's various different moves that will make it really fast. Really fast, really efficient, really quick for the dealer. Those moves only work if we know we have to make the move before we start paying you. Some of these don't work otherwise. I mean, for instance, if this player were to say, after I've cut it out, say, oh, I want to press the 6 and 8, and they don't have, let's say they don't have any 1s. So now I've cut it out, and they say, oh, I want to press the 6 and 8. All right, son. Bring it. All right, there we go. Pressing your 6 and 8. Meanwhile, this player, as I'm getting ready to cut the money out, says, I want to press the 6 and 8. And I glance up, and they don't have any 1s. Okay, no problem. If I don't fumble finger it. And they are pressed. Because there is an actual way of doing it if I know in advance. So, guys, that's the order of operations and how you should communicate with the dealers. Hope you guys find this interesting, or at least helpful in some minor way, shape, or form. And that is it. Please hit the like and subscribe buttons. Hope you guys enjoy.